The crystalline spires of the galactic central bank pierced the violet sky of Nexus Prime, their surfaces reflecting the light of 3 setting suns. Inside, Cassandra Reed sat perfectly still, her dark suit crisp despite the 4-hour wait, her eyes fixed on the scaled figure behind the obsidian desk. Thexan, the Serpentian bank manager, deliberately ignored her presence, his elongated fingers dancing across holographic displays. His pearl-white scales shifted with each movement, a biological display of his supposed superiority. The banking hall hummed with the quiet efficiency of automated tellers and the occasional whispers of various species conducting their business. "Your application requires additional processing," Thexan announced for the 3rd time, not bothering to look up. His voice carried the characteristic hiss of his species, drawn out to emphasize his disdain. Cassandra's fingers tightened imperceptibly on her datapad. As Earth's financial envoy, she'd faced her share of xenophobic bureaucrats, but Thexan's deliberate delays were testing even her diplomatic training. The trade agreement she carried would open new markets for both humans and Serpentians, yet here she sat, watching her carefully planned schedule crumble. Other clients, mostly non-humans, were processed swiftly. A towering crystalline merchant swept past, their transaction completed in minutes. A group of chittering hive-mind accountants followed, their business concluded with efficient clicks and buzzes. "Surely," Cassandra spoke, her voice steady, "the verification of Earth's credentials falls within standard processing times." She accessed her datapad, projecting the relevant regulations into the air between them. Section 7, Paragraph 3 clearly states, "Terrestrial regulations," Thexan interrupted, "carry limited weight in galactic institutions." His secondary eyelids flickered, a gesture of dismissal that made several nearby clients shift uncomfortably. The banking hall's ambient lighting shifted to evening mode, casting long shadows across the marble-like floor. Cassandra noticed the subtle changes in security positioning, the silent drone cameras adjusting their angles. Something was about to happen. A low vibration began to build, more felt than heard. The crystalline fixtures resonated in harmony, creating a haunting melody that made several clients look up from their transactions. Thexan's scales rippled with what might have been concern. The massive doors at the far end of the hall began to part, their ancient mechanisms moving with deliberate precision. The security drones retreated to their docking stations, their behavior suggesting the arrival of someone with the highest clearance. "Director on premises," announced the bank's AI, its voice echoing through the vast space. All systems acknowledging primary authority. Thexan's composure cracked. His scales shifted from pearl white to a sickly gray as he scrambled to organize his workspace. Around them, the other clients and staff froze in place, their attention fixed on the opening doors. Through the doorway emerged a figure that seemed to bend reality around itself. Director Nix, the legendary overseer of the Galactic Central Bank, moved with fluid grace despite their massive size. Their form shifted between solid and ethereal, scales gleaming with colors that shouldn't exist in normal space. Cassandra had heard rumors about the director's species, ancient beings who had evolved beyond physical constraints. But rumors hadn't prepared her for the reality. Nix's presence commanded attention not through force, but through an absolute certainty in their own existence. The director's gaze swept the hall, pausing briefly on each person before settling on Cassandra and Thexan. A smile that contained too many dimensions spread across their features. "How interesting," Nix spoke, their voice resonating on multiple frequencies. "I detect an irregularity in our usually flawless system." They moved closer, the air shimmering around them. "Tell me, Manager Thexan, why does my system log show a 4-hour delay for a priority diplomatic transaction?" Director Nix's presence transformed the banking hall into an impromptu tribunal. Thexan's scales continued their anxious color shift as the director examined the transaction logs hovering in the air between them. "Fascinating," Nix mused, their form rippling like liquid starlight. Every override code, every delay protocol, executed with such precise inefficiency. Her multifaceted eyes focused on Thexan. One might almost suspect deliberate obstruction. Cassandra remained silent, observing the power dynamics unfold. The other clients had retreated to the edges of the hall, creating an unofficial arena for the confrontation. The bank's AI systems hummed at a higher frequency, responding to their director's presence. "I assure you, Director," Thexan began, his voice lacking its earlier condescension, "all procedures followed standard procedures." Nix's laugh resonated through multiple dimensions. "Let's examine these standard procedures." With a gesture, they expanded the holographic display, revealing a complex web of financial transactions. "Notice these patterns, Ms. Reed." Cassandra leaned forward, her trained eye catching the irregularities. "The verification requests were routed through defunct colonial banks," she noted. "Each delay triggered a microtransaction is that the Orion Void Exchange." "Excellent observation." Nick's approval sent ripples through the ambient light. "It seems our manager Thexan has been participating in what humans would call a long game. Each delayed diplomatic transaction creating opportunities for certain parties to adjust their positions in less regulated markets." Thexan's scales now displayed patterns of pure panic. "Director, these allegations are supported by approximately 2.7 million similar instances," Nix finished, "all carefully orchestrated to seem random, yet following a beautiful pattern of systematic discrimination." They turned to Cassandra. "Your patience, Ms. Reed, has helped us uncover something far more significant than mere xenophobia." The bank's security systems activated with a crystalline chime, energy fields shimmering into place around Thexan's desk. The manager's attempt to access his terminal resulted in an immediate lockout, his credentials evaporating into the ether. The revelation of Thexan's scheme triggered a cascade of automated responses throughout the galactic central bank. Warning signals pulsed through the crystalline architecture, and hidden security measures emerged from seemingly solid walls. Level 1 containment protocols initiated, the bank's AI announced, its voice now carrying an edge of urgency. All transactions suspended pending full system audit. Director Nix moved with sudden purpose, their form solidifying as they accessed deeper levels of the bank's security grid. "Ms. Reed," they called, "your diplomatic credentials may prove useful. The patterns we've uncovered suggest infiltration of multiple financial networks." Cassandra stepped forward, her datapad interfacing with the bank's systems. Years of handling Earth's most sensitive financial negotiations had prepared her for crisis, but this was unprecedented. "The transaction logs show connections to the Perseus Arm Banking Collective," she reported, "and something else." The something else manifested as a ripple of code through the holographic displays, a shadow program that had hidden beneath legitimate transactions for years. Thexan's systematic delays hadn't just been about prejudice or profit. They had been feeding data into this hidden system. "Ah," Nex's voice carried a note of grim satisfaction. "The quantum ledger infiltrator. A theoretical construct, until now." They turned to Thexan, who had gone completely still. "Who provided you with this technology, manager?" Before Thexan could respond, the infiltrator program activated. Holographic displays throughout the banking hall flickered with cascading symbols, financial data warping in impossible ways. The crystalline architecture of the bank itself began to resonate at an alarming frequency. "Full system breach detected," the AI warned. "Quantum encryption protocols compromised." Cassandra's diplomatic training kicked in as she recognized patterns in the chaos. "These are trading algorithms from the Sol system's early quantum computing era," she declared. "But they've been modified with. Director, these are carrying traces of extinct civilizations' banking codes." Nex's form expanded, their energy containing the worst of the system breach. "Someone has been very busy," they observed, their multiple voices harmonizing with the bank's destabilizing crystals, creating a bridge between modern financial networks and long-lost economic systems. The potential for manipulation is profound. The galactic central bank's crisis reached its crescendo as ancient and modern financial systems collided. "Director Nix, Their form now a brilliant constellation of light and purpose, initiated emergency containment protocols. Ms. Reed, they commanded, your Earth-based encryption might be our advantage. The infiltrator program never accounted for human financial algorithms. Cassandra's fingers flew across her datapad, interfacing directly with the bank's quantum core. Human banking systems, considered primitive by galactic standards, had evolved in isolation. Their very simplicity made them impossible for the infiltrator to predict or corrupt. Implementing Earth market failsafes, she announced, her voice steady despite the chaos. The holographic displays flickered as terrestrial trading protocols began to interact with the compromised galactic systems. Adding stock market circuit breakers. Now, the effect was immediate. Like a wave hitting a breakwater, the infiltrator program crashed against the unexpected barriers. Earth's comparative financial simplicity acted as a firewall, its tried and tested safeguards creating islands of stability in the quantum storm. Thexan, still contained within the security field, watched in disbelief as his years of careful planning unraveled. Impossible, he whispered. Human systems are obsolete. Obsolete. Nix's laugh resonated through multiple dimensions, or perhaps simply more elegant. Sometimes, Manager Thexan, the oldest solutions are the most effective. The bank's AI systems began to stabilize, the crystalline architecture returning to its normal resonance. Through the massive windows, the three suns of Nexus Prime cast long shadows across the banking hall, marking the end of a very long day. Security protocols restored, the AI announced. System integrity at 99.7% and rising. Director Nix turned to Cassandra, their form settling into a more conventional appearance. Ms. Reed, I believe we owe you a debt of gratitude. Your patience revealed a conspiracy, and your planet's financial wisdom helped save an institution far older than your civilization. Cassandra nodded, her diplomatic training holding despite her exhaustion. Perhaps this incident will encourage more integration between Earth and galactic financial systems. We may be newer to interstellar banking, but we've learned valuable lessons from our own economic history. Indeed. Nix gestured, and a new holographic contract materialized. Your original trade agreement, Ms. Reed, with some additions. Earth's banking protocols will now have protected status within the galactic financial network. Sometimes the newest members of a community bring the most valuable perspectives. As security drones escorted Thexan away, Cassandra finally allowed herself a small smile. She had arrived seeking this simple trade agreement, and had instead helped prevent a financial crisis that could have destabilized the galactic economy. Not bad for a day's work. Oh, and Ms. Reed, Director Nix added, their form beginning to fade into the quantum realm. Next time you visit, you won't have to wait. Earth has earned its place at this table. The banking hall returned to its normal operations, but something had fundamentally changed. The other clients looked at Cassandra with new respect, and the remaining staff hurried to process her original transaction with almost embarrassing efficiency. As she gathered her belongings, Cassandra reflected that sometimes the greatest victories came not from confrontation, but from the simple willingness to wait, observe, and act when the moment was right. Earth's position in the galactic community had been strengthened not through force or demands, but through patience, adaptability, and the unexpected value of its financial heritage. The three suns of Nexus Prime finally set, casting the crystalline spires of the galactic central bank in twilight colors. Within its walls, ancient and modern, alien and human, had found a new balance. And somewhere in the quantum realm, Director Nix smiled, knowing that the future of galactic finance would be richer for the diversity of its members.